and I'm very excited to share this webinar about how to optimize your website for maximum lead conversion and lead flow. We're going to cover a few things today. First of all, I will briefly introduce Builder Lead Marketing. This is not a sales call, but just want you to know where we are coming from and a little bit about us. We are going to get right into why your website is your 24/7 online model home, and it is crucial to your success in today's digital age. We're going to talk about the home buying journey, which is one of the reasons why your website's so important. Key stats to remember, why conversion is so important, how to make your website more than just an online brochure, which most websites right now are just out there as a reference. They're really not generating a lot of traffic or leads. Key metrics and KPIs, where you should look for them, how to measure, and how to use them to drive your success. We will briefly cover SEO, what it is, some things you should consider in optimizing your site, and also touch on automation. A little bit of housekeeping. The webinar is being recorded. We'll send the recording. It'll also be on the Builder Lead Marketing YouTube channel. And you should have received a workbook. We emailed it yesterday. If you didn't receive it, please email our marketing associate, Gia. She is at our legacy company, but she'll be able to help you. And just one thing about the workbook, people are at different stages of marketing, and sometimes it can get kind of overwhelming in terms of what should you cover first. And so we tackle that in the workbook on the priorities page. And we will be doing a monthly webinar. We have been able to work closely with the Modular Home Builders Association in promoting these. So please do keep in touch on our social media, as well as keep an eye out for their promotions as well. And many of the things we're going to talk about today will be going into even greater depth, something like SEO, which will be our next webinar actually next month. And if you know others in the industry or your market that might be interested, please share. We would really appreciate it. So this is what the workbook looks like. Again, you should have received it by email. If you don't see it, please check your spam folder, or you can email Gia. You can also email me after the webinar. Who am I and why should you listen to me? So I'm Mary Anglade. I'm the founder of Builder Lead Marketing. I have over 25 years of experience in business and in marketing. I started SparkGen Marketing in 2012. A few months ago, after working closely with a number of home builders, decided that I wanted to have a niche brand that spoke directly to home builders and their challenges. So started Builder Lead Marketing. So it is part of SparkGen. If you like us on social media, we are like some of you. We're actually just getting started there because we are not, that particular brand is not very old. We are associate members of the Modular Home Builders Association, the Home Builders Association. I may have met you at the Modular show in October. I was exhibiting, I was actually there. And we love to use our existing experience. We have my team, there's 12 of us. We have on average at least a couple decades of experience, and we love helping home builders. We're very passionate about the industry. This country's facing an affordable home shortage, and we'd like to help builders fill that, as well as just in general helping people build beautiful homes, because home obviously is so important. It's one of our most basic needs and makes such a difference in somebody's life. Home building is also very visual, and it lends itself really well to marketing and the kind of marketing we do, which is largely digital marketing. So social media, pay-per-click, Google, and websites, as well as email marketing. And just one more thing about me, I actually started my career in banking. I used to lend money in the garment center in New York City, and I had a lot of fashion companies, which is a really tough business. But in general, I just learned how businesses make money, how they become successful or not. And that has really helped me become a very results-oriented marketer. And my team is the same way. We are all about looking at the results. And digital marketing, you can really measure everything. So we love working closely with our home builder and our manufacturer clients, as well as some other types of businesses. We don't just work with home builders. We use the same approach, which is very results driven. Company basically offers digital marketing. If you're interested at the end, I'll give you some information how we can stay in touch, do a follow-up call, but we have everything from a smaller package for home builders up to, which fit more the manufacturers, larger companies, and we do all facets of digital marketing. If you are an enterprise client, then we also will do some print and some custom work as well. And all of this can include social media, content creation, as well as advertising. So would love to connect with you. If you want to scan this QR code, it'll bring you to a link tree. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can also download this free, which will take you into everything you need to know about digital marketing, what you should be doing, and it's all 100% complimentary. Again, we love serving this industry and are really excited and want to add value. You don't necessarily need to be one of our customers for us to want to help you. And next month, we will be doing SEO for home builders. We get a little bit more in depth. I will likely be bringing in one of our experts to also add some granular detail on what you need to do search engine optimization. So please, again, like us on social media, follow along the Modular Home Builders Association so you get that date on your calendar. So let's jump into this webinar. This is called the Accelerated Growth Model. This is our framework for marketing, digital marketing. You happen to catch last month's webinar. We kind of get an overview of all of this in the context of creating an internet marketing plan for 2025. You can catch that on YouTube on the Builder Lead Marketing YouTube channel if you missed it. Basically, use a system. And so today we're going to be tackling the website. But in addition to a website, you need to drive traffic to your website. You need to make it so people can find you on the search engines. And then you need to tie it into your financial results. So this is kind of the overall framework. Today we will be focusing on website. And again, this is a little bit more detail about what each of these may entail. Look at the website as kind of very first step. You really need to get this in order and into why this is so important. But it's at the heart and center of the accelerated growth roadmap. So I like to say it wouldn't be a marketing conversation without talking about your target. So please take a moment and think about who your target is. Are you dealing with investors? If you're a manufacturer, are you dealing with other builders? Are you also consumer facing? Maybe you target families, retirees. You kind of more for the lower income buyer who wants affordable smaller home, or are you looking at very high end, maybe an older age group? By the way, I think you can have a fine business any of these areas, but I do think you need to not try to please everybody, and you need to refine your messaging so it really resonates with your key buyer. And maybe you have one or two. So please put that hat on where you're really thinking through who is this person. And we have further on in the presentation, we'll get a little bit into what we call avatar development. Let's also keep in mind, home buying is an extremely complex and emotional purchase. This is not toothpaste. Most Americans, this is the biggest purchase they will make. It can be very stressful. It can be very joyful. That might pass for kind of end marketing. Really don't with home buying. You need to exude trust, authority, expertise, craftsmanship. Not going to turn over hundreds of thousands of dollars to somebody they don't trust. And two, frankly, impressions matter, and what you put out about yourself matters. Please keep that in mind. We'll get more into this a little bit further on. How do your prospects find out about you? If you're old enough, you may remember a big yellow book that came to your house once a year. There's a time when people actually use that book to look up that they may need. And is anybody using these big yellow books anymore? For the most part, I think the answer is no. Some of it has moved online. There's online directories, but the yellow pages is really not what it used to be. There was also an interesting study done in 1981 that the most used source or highly important was newspaper ads after real estate agents. I think many of us might remember even looking for an apartment or looking for a place to live using the newspaper. This is basically dried up. In 2020, 97% of home buyers use the internet in their home search. So obviously that's important because if they're looking to buy a home and maybe they're starting out not necessarily wanting to build a home, but maybe they land on building a home because right now there's not a lot of inventory depending on your market. You want to meet them with an online presence that really does your work justice and puts you on the best foot. Also want to point out because a lot of our builder clients, in fact, I had a call yesterday with a gentleman and he doesn't really like social media. He didn't become a home builder to be behind a desk all day. And we were talking about his website, which he didn't really have a website that really portrayed his wonderful, homes. And I said, well, I get it. I understand that. I respect that. And that makes sense for the kind of career you have. But a lot of people, myself included, we spend most of our day in front of a computer. And in fact, this is a Fortune magazine study that Americans spend an average of 7 hours a day. In business, probably more. So if you are in your clients or your prospects, you're working with lawyers or business people, even doctors, because now a lot of the records have to be online. They're spending hours of their time online. And when they have free time, if they are looking for a home or if they're thinking about a home, then they are online. And so just because you're not online doesn't mean the people that you are trying to get to buy from you aren't online. And I think this study, that for sure. Before 97% of home buyers use the internet. The most important feature was photos. You really need nice photos. Investments that you have to make. You sell one more home from some of this work. It pays for itself many, many times over. You say, don't be cheap with this stuff. It's important to put your best self forward. And when you look at this research, it just confirms that. The other thing is you got to make your website mobile responsive, tablet responsive. People are using all kinds of devices to access the internet. So we're not just talking about sitting behind a desktop or even a laptop. A lot of the traffic now is coming from phones. You're dealing with millennials, right? And now millennials are really buying houses. I'm not sure if they're building houses, but they will be, I'm sure, at some point. And they are even more so likely to use mobile. So you have to keep that in mind. In some cases, they're just looking online. They're not going to visit the house. They may not visit you. They might just look at your website. They're going to make a judgment. And people make judgments extremely quickly. As you've heard, you only have one chance to make a first impression, right? Users, and this is a Forbes article, they form an opinion in about 5 seconds. So an exercise I'd like to encourage you to do is to take a look at your website, give it the 5-second look. What does it tell you in that 5 seconds? Ask a family member, ask a friend, the website really convey in a very short period of time. That might be all somebody gives it. So you really have only one chance to kind of yourself forward as professional that you are and the type of builder or whatever your organization is, you have a very short time to do it. We like to say your website is your 24/7 model home. Your clients or prospects are like me. They are not necessarily doing this during the day. It's early morning, it's late at night, it might be on the weekends. You finally have a little chance to take a look at what real estate's out there. Maybe there's, you're thinking of buying a home. Now you finally have a cup of coffee and you can look at your tablet, look at your phone. You are not necessarily your business then. Your website is. And so is it doing you justice? So I'd like to just take a moment to I think a lot of people have probably seen this, but this is kind of sales framework where somebody goes from becoming aware. So they become aware of you, or they become aware of building a modular home, or has caught their attention. they start to collect information, and then maybe they start comparing you to other options. Maybe they start to pick up the phone, they'll have a consultation, and some of these folks will become your customers. I like to say you can't build me a house if I've never heard of you. And that is just a fact. Not going to call you. I'm not going to consider you if I've never heard of you. And so then how are you making prospects aware of you when they are more and more online? So some things that used to work no longer work. Again, just keep this in mind as we continue with the presentation. Let's think about the prospect. She's looking at buying a new home. She's not happy with existing inventory. She's not sure about building a home. Sounds kind of complicated, sounds expensive. She really never heard much about modular. She's confused. Is that a mobile home? What is this building technique? What do you need to share with her to bring her in where she becomes a prospect, a lead, then a prospect, and then maybe a customer? That should be on your website. So it's really that thinking about what are her questions? What does she need to know to get comfortable? What does she need to know about you? What would make her comfortable? Then you start thinking, okay, it's seeing other clients who have built beautiful homes. Maybe it's your gorgeous home. She can see the beautiful styles and the variety. She learns that you build sustainably, that they're energy efficient. You can build it quickly, and all the things that she would be wondering about. And that should be on your website. So let's talk about you for a minute. Many of you have a website. I was able to take a look at a few of them. And I'm guessing these are some of the problems that you have. You have a website, but it was built years ago. To the outfits in this picture, it looks like you built it 15 years ago. It's not inspiring trust or innovation. And I get it, you're busy. He's really busy with the operation of their business. But if you think about how people are finding you online, they're looking for your website, what are you doing when they meet you there? Is this what you're meeting them with? Is an outdated website? I don't even know, judging by those computers, that's late 80s or early 90s, right? You do not want to meet them with an outdated website. You have a website, but you don't have any traffic. You're not doing anything to drive traffic. Having a website and expecting it to have traffic is like putting a sign up in the woods and hoping somebody walks by. You need signs, you need to drive people. And these will be, topic of future webinars. We'll get into a little bit about SEO, but you really can't expect somebody to find your website like that. There are millions and millions of websites out there. You need to actually take actions through SEO, possibly through pay-per-click or social media advertising to get people coming back to your website. Of course, you can mention if you happen to have like a phone call with somebody, oh, did you check out our website? But that's going to be very small. You're not going to reach a lot of people that way. You get traffic, but they're not filling out forms. They're not calling you. Something is wrong. You're not getting the ROI. You made an investment. Maybe the leads are coming in. They're not very good. They're not serious. They can't afford the homes that you build. Something is off. You have an empty schedule and it's a fail, right? You're not growing. You're not getting the leads you need to have a successful business. Or maybe you're just stagnant. You're really just not keeping up with the times. Your competition might be taking over because you are not out there performing. What you need is a great site that's built to convert, that consistently converts your leads to callers or actual, fill out your web form. And you have a full schedule, profitable business, and you look like the sailboat. You've got momentum and you're growing and you're reaching your goals and you're meeting your objectives. And it's success, right? I think this is also a good time to ask yourself, why do you want that? Are you okay with stagnation? Are you okay with not growing? Are you thinking you're going to close your business down? Or do you want to grow? Maybe you want to make more money. Maybe you want to sell your business, or maybe you want family to take over your business at some point. No right or wrong answer. This is all getting at your why. This is personal. Maybe it's your job, by the way. You could actually just be in a role that you're required to bring the business to the next level. And that is success, right? You're building homes, you're manufacturing them, you're generating profits and revenues and meeting your goals. So let's just talk about conversion and why it's so important. If you just make a math problem, you had 2,000 visitors per month, which should be reasonably easy to do. You have a 5% conversion, so you get 100 either calls or leads into the website, and then you get a 10%, you're able to turn those into let me talk to you on the phone or meet with you. And let's say out of 10, you get 2 sales. You're selling, say, an average of 500,000 for your home. Well, that's $1 million. Scenario 2, what if you doubled that conversion? Okay, now you have 200 calls. You're not really doing anything in terms of your technique to convert those people. So you end up with 20 consultation and you're able to close 4 sales. Then you've got 2 million, right? So this is somewhat common sense. I think we all understand this and, your revenue. So again, why is this important to you? This is a personal question and we'll have a personal response, but hoping that this is not just turn this on, it's actually an active, work session. So please take a moment and, why it's important. Why do you need this to happen? Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of website conversion. Again, your websites are 24/7. Online home, make it beautiful and make it work for you. What are the website must-haves? All right, so this is kind of the basics. We run a WordPress website. WordPress is an open sourced software platform. It has probably millions of templates. All developers are constantly working on it. That's what it means by being open sourced. And there's just a lot of plugins and a lot of benefits to a WordPress website. This is money in the long run because you don't have to hire a developer who would do some custom coding. We do not recommend custom coding because it then puts you in a position where that person is really kind of the one who knows what to do with your website. WordPress is widely known. It should not be difficult to find somebody who knows WordPress and who can work on your website if something happens where you can't use the original person who created the website. You optimize for search ideally, it should load quickly, and you want it mobile optimized for all the reasons we talked about. You want to feature your homes, okay? I don't care if you're a manufacturer or you're a modular home builder or you're a traditional stick builder. The homes, people love looking at them. They love looking at beautiful exteriors and interiors. All the shelter magazines out there should tell you that this is true. Okay, so your website's just like an online magazine. It's showcasing what you can do. And people love to look at this. This is always the second most visited part of the website in our experience. And sometimes it's even the first, surpassing the homepage, which frankly I've never seen until I did start working with home builders, where people just love looking at featured homes. If you are modular, it's super important that you provide educational content. There's a lot of misconceptions about modular home building. People think it's mobile, they think it's cheap, they think it's cookie cutter. I am very experienced in this. I know that's not the case. That was not the case when I first actually approached to work with a modular home builder. I really didn't know anything about it. And frankly, I didn't have a great impression. Thankfully, that is something education can solve. So you can do that on sections of your website. You can use a blog. You can use video. You want to address these concerns. The other thing is you want to show your happy clients. Video, written testimonials. People trust other people far more than they trust a business. And when they see that somebody else is sharing their wonderful experience in their beautiful home, then that's going to give a prospect a lot of comfort. Here's a big tip. If you're trying to either build a new website or work on your website, a developer alone is usually not enough. A developer is fine for coding, and they could probably get you 80% there. But usually you need a designer as well. Those are 2 different backgrounds, 2 educations. Developers learn coding, designers learn design, applied design. Sometimes you might be able to get somebody who knows both. It's very rare in my many years of being in marketing. I have one person on the Builder Lead marketing team who can do both. But you are, out there, make sure you see somebody's portfolio and ask them if they also use a designer, if you're talking to a developer, and vice versa. Although I don't find most designers put themselves out there as being able to build a website, unless it's on like a space or something like that. But again, we don't really recommend those for a long-term solution. We do recommend WordPress. So ask yourself, go take a look at your website right now. Ask a family member that you trust or a friend, is your website professional? Does it highlight the homes you build? Does it look modern? Do you look like, the bargain basement, or, truly conveying what you do? And we'll get into a little more on how you can do that in the upcoming slides. But either now or later, please go through that exercise and really be critical, yourself. Is somebody in 5 seconds going to be able to really what we do? The other thing is, make sure you don't have broken links. If you have social media and you are connecting it through your website with icons, click on those icons, do a little audit, make sure that they are reaching the right place. And if they are going to Facebook, make sure you've been posting on Facebook. Again, it is a very bad look to, oh, you haven't posted in a month. Somebody might think you've gone out of business, or that you just aren't very detail oriented. And maybe you're not going to be very detail oriented when you're building my house. So again, these little things matter. And even if you don't think it matters to you, it matters to other people. I certainly very judgmental on some of this, partly the type of work I do, but there are plenty of people like me that are also, okay with their work, and the standards are high. So go through your website, make sure that you don't have broken links, that, is going to another platform, make sure that that link works. And when you get there, ask yourself, is this representing who we are as a brand? So the other thing is, and this was part of the last webinar, but unique selling proposition. What makes you stand out from your competition in the market? Stand out. Are you most experienced? Are you an award-winning manufacturer or builder? What going to make you stand out that you can convey on your website very quickly? So think about that and make sure it's on your homepage. Okay, so you, again, want to give somebody who doesn't have a lot of time, is very busy, we're all inundated with messaging, what may stand out. So, okay, so let's get back to, speaking to, and there is an exercise in the workbook. Basically, can't be everything to everyone. You have to pick who you are really trying to sell to. That is because somebody who is, let's say, looking for affordable housing has very different needs, has a very different life than somebody who is very wealthy and is maybe building a second or even third home for vacation purposes. I think you can have a fine business working with either of those types of prospects. That absolutely, but, very wealthy is probably going on vacation to different places, eating out in different places, want something very different in their home. They are going to be looking for something there is very different than somebody who is, maybe lower income and really just trying to find a place to live. And again, there's nothing wrong with either of those scenarios in terms of, but you really need to think about it and make sure that what you are putting out there in terms of messaging, imagery is matching that avatar. So you can do this in the workbook. There's this particular example in there, and you can apply it to your prospects. So if you can see Joe Jones through Joe Jones' eyes, then you can sell what Joe Jones buys. A funny saying, but I think, again, if you put yourself in somebody's position, then you'll know what they're looking for. And if you can show them that you have similar clients, so let's say you do deal in a very premium, marketplace, and You have somebody that is raving about the gorgeous waterfront vacation home you built, and somebody that is looking to build a similar type home and goes and says, oh, that person's kind of like me, and look at this beautiful home, and here's a video, and here's a written testimonial. They are going to come to you. And again, it's a whole package, not just with one testimonial, but you've put together the website that speaks to them. You've got the imagery, you've got all that. They come pre-positioned to buy. You have alleviated a lot of their concerns and, trust you. So along those lines, you should have pictures of yourself and your team, dealing with other people. They want to go on a website. They want to see who's behind this business. Do feel comfortable with this person. And, invest in some professional photography, but you can, people need to be necessarily in formal clothing or anything, but that brings out your personality, brings out your professionalism. You can include a short bio, something, how many years you've been in the business, could a lot of credibility and trust, showing people in the business. If you have some support staff, if you're a manufacturer or, a larger company, even showing, your finance department, that sort of thing. It lends people a sense that this is a longstanding, credible business that I want to do business with to, several hundreds of thousands of dollars. Or maybe you're dealing even with other builders that I would be comfortable working with, knowing that they would stand behind their product. So these are the signals that you give to somebody on your website. The other piece is you should show the associations. You can show the logos where you're a member, that, Better Business Bureau, those types of things, along with the home builders associations can help inspire. As I mentioned, especially if you're modular, but I think no matter what angle of the business you're in, a blog can really help. First of all, it helps with your search engine optimization because the search engines are looking for fresh content. And when you put out fresh content about a topic, one, you're helping people, but two, you make it easy for a Google or a Bing to say, oh, this website is about modular home building, and they're putting out fresh, authentic content. So here's a few ideas. What are the steps to building a new home? How do I build an energy efficient, sustainable home? Many things you could discuss. And again, you need to educate people. Don't assume they know that how you build a home is better than how somebody else builds a home. You need to convey that. And think about what questions your prospects are asking. You can also take those blog posts and you can create what we call lead magnets. So basically, and I'll just jump over to this example. Let's say here we have our potential buyer. I don't understand why building modular may be a good option. I thought modular was mobile, blah. No, oh, here's a guide. It's free. I go in, all I have to do is give my email and I can download it. Well, guess what? Barrington Homes now has her email. They can reach out. Oh, I saw that you downloaded the advantages to building a modular home. Can we help you today? Or she says, no, not yet. Well, okay, maybe a month from now you send her your newsletter, or, you're, fresh in her mind. And that's called a lead magnet. And it's a great way to build your database. And certainly we recommend to have on your website. Can they reach you easily? You want a phone number displayed at the top. It should have what they call click-to-call functionality. So if somebody's using their mobile phone, they can just hit the number and it goes straight to you. The other thing is more and more people really want to just be able to text you. There are a bunch of widgets that you can use. This widget is one of them, and it's easy to install. Again, some best practices that make it very easy for somebody to reach you. So I'm not going to read through all of this, but these are the top 10 elements. This is in your workbook. It's a summary of what we just discussed. And you also have the home builder website checklist in the workbook as well. So go through it, see where you're missing. And, we do that, ask yourself, what's the one thing I really have to do? And, what are you going to do to improve the conversion rates? Pick another 3. Don't make this webinar just something you were having lunch. Take a minute to really take some action and, make a difference in your business, because ultimately that's what we're trying to do here, not just have pretty websites, but actually take actions that are going to move our growth and businesses forward. So those are the action items. Let's get into once you have your website. And by the way, you don't have to wait for a beautiful website to start tracking how it's doing. In fact, we recommend you get some baseline results to start, and then you can see as you make improvements how your website is performing. How do we measure results? A lot of you have heard of Google Analytics. It's free. And all you need to do is go set up an account if you don't have one. And you take that snippet of code and you put it in the back end of your website. Your developer should be able to help you, or an agency, or I'm guessing there are some YouTube videos that will even tell you how to do it yourself. We can certainly do that for our clients. So this is part of digital marketing. And it's free because Google wants you to know how your traffic is doing. They're hoping you will then spend some money with them, because that's how they make their money, using click. But regardless, this is free and you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to do pay per click to have Google Analytics. This is a snapshot from one of our clients, and you can see the different ways that they have been driving traffic. Most of their traffic is coming through social media, so we run ads for them. They are getting traffic, hitting the website, looking at the beautiful homes, signing up for tours, number of different ads. We are doing SEO, so the other big thing is organic search, which we'll get into in a minute, and so on and so forth. There are so many different points of data that you can look at in Google Analytics. We'll probably do a webinar just on Google Analytics and reporting. But at the very least, after today, please make a habit of, well, first of all, get it installed, and then make a habit of looking at your traffic once a month and jotting down how many visitors you're getting, how long they're spending on your website, and where are they coming from. That's the best place to start. Again, you can get a lot more granular, but if you're just starting, that's what we recommend. And then start tracking it, right? Because really it's the trends that's important. You want to look at what you're getting for the year. You want to look at what you're getting every month. You want to see how many leads are coming in. What's the average conversion rate? Okay, so let's take a minute to talk about SEO. As I mentioned, we'll be doing a much deeper dive in March on SEO. But what is SEO? Okay, it's for search engine optimization. And what it is just improving the visibility of your website so that the search engines will find you, and your prospects will be able to find you and learn about you and hopefully become a client. That's all it is. And here's an example. In your browser, you plug in new home builders. I put in Connecticut because we are out of Connecticut, and it gives me these top 3 are sponsored. That is pay-per-click. That's not SEO. So people are paying for those placements. But then below, Sunwood Development, which must be a Connecticut area home builder, is coming up first organically. So their website on the back end, with the type of content they have put forth, is signaling to Google that it meets these search terms. Google wants to give its clients the best search experience, because if I put in those search terms and I get a bunch of gobbledygook, I'm not using Google anymore. Okay, so also Google will change its algorithms. It'll weight things differently. That's what SEO team would do. They are watching out for that. They are adjusting. They're tagging your site. So there's things you can do on your back end. We are also putting out fresh content. We're blogging. We're making sure that this has certain pages, which we'll get into here. So for example, if you are operating in a certain location, for example, let's say you build homes in North Palm Beach, Florida, you are going to want a page on your website about building homes in North Palm Beach, Florida. You're going to want your title, have the right keywords in it, a subheading, and then the content. That way, somebody looking for a home builder, North Palm Beach, Florida, will be able to find you organically. The great thing about organic traffic is it does take some investment, but it's the gift that keeps on giving. You could have a blog post that answers a question, and you have written that maybe a year ago, and it's still a huge driver of traffic. We've seen this again and again. So Definitely, it's not necessarily the thing you do. You want to get your website in order, but SEO tends to be the best traffic. People are looking for you, and these are some of the steps you'll take to get going. And then lastly, let's just spend a minute on automation. A lot of leads will come into websites and nothing gets done about them. And the forms, the landing pages aren't really doing anything. So we see this, especially when we first start working with people, that they are getting some traffic, but it's not really going anywhere. The other piece of it, now this is not just for home builders, this is kind of across industries, but you've got to respond really quickly. People in today's day and age are used to instant gratification. I mean, you order something on Amazon, you get sometimes the same day. They're not waiting around for you 3 or 4 days later to get back to them. So, what you want to do is use some automation because you're busy. You don't have time necessarily to be responding. You also want frequency. It takes more than once to follow up with somebody. They say 5 to 7 times. And you really need to adapt text. Not that phone and email aren't still ways to communicate and useful sometimes, but more and more people really like text, especially younger folks. So you want to leverage automation. Again, we'll probably get into this in detail in some coming webinars, but there's a lot of platforms out there. There's HubSpot, even MailChimp. You can automate some of your email. Marketo. There's something called Go High Level. There's a bunch of these softwares, so you are not doing the heavy lifting because it's almost impossible in today's day and age to respond to people manually. And here's just a diagram that literally all of this could be automated. So you don't really have to do anything until somebody is probably ready to really talk to you. So we are wrapping up. And if you're saying, this sounds great, but I don't have the capacity, I don't really know where to turn, we would be happy to help you. We offer a free website, an online review. We'll take a look at your website, look at how you're showing up in search results. We'll brainstorm some keywords and share how you're doing against the competition. And, just look at how you're showing on listings, look at your social media, and we'll look and see if we think your conversion mechanisms are really working on your website. If that sounds good, I recommend you just reach out to me directly at manglade at Builder Lead Marketing. You can also go to our website, builderleadmarketing.com, or give us a call on the 1-800 number, and we'd be happy to schedule a half hour with you to chat. There's no obligation. We love helping people in this industry, and you don't need to be a client for us to provide this service. So again, we'd love to help you out. And a big thank you. Thank you, Modular Home Builders Association, for helping get the word out about this webinar. Very appreciative. And thank you all for attending. Please follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. You can also watch if you have a great rest of your day. Thank you again for coming. A great rest of your day.